Here we go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to give you guys my demo impressions of one of the newer demos that came out on the PlayStation Network, being Dead Space 2. Now, I was a really late bloomer to the first Dead Space, so luckily for me, I didn't have to wait that long to get my hands on Dead Space 2 as opposed to a lot of other people. I say that because, well, it's probably been maybe 4 or 5 months since I beat it, and also being the first time that I played anything from the series, which is, I gotta say, it's probably one of my new favorite IPs this gen, which is saying something because there's not a lot of new IPs that I really got into this gen, so it's pretty cool. Now, for those who are familiar with the game, you're gonna feel right at home from the start as long as you can get used to the controls again, which for me, it didn't take me that long really at all. I was kind of antsy going into the demo, and I was kind of worried I wasn't going to remember the controls right away. And it actually took me a while to remember how to sprint. But besides that, I got everything pretty much down packed, even with the secondary fire, which was really nice. Now, for the demo, the first what seems like probably 5 minutes or so, maybe even longer, you're running through like these ice labs pretty much over and over and over again, it seems like, until you finally will you'll run into you'll be introduced to your creepy crawlies. Now, one thing that I learned from the first Dead Space, if you're using your objective finder, it'll show you your path on the ground or which way you should go. Always go the opposite way first. And I say that because there's usually always something the other way that you can pick up, which in survival horror games, it's key. Your ammo is always going to be key, and more than likely you're going to find something the other way as you're going the way you're supposed to be going. So always do that first. There's a little pro tip for you. Um, Besides that, the game, you know, it's improved pretty much on every area that you can probably think of from the first, which is a pretty big deal because the first game I felt was really polished, and it was a great game in general. So for that to be improved, leaps and bounds at what seems like from the first game, it's a pretty big deal. Now, there's it's weird because there isn't really a lot that, in my opinion, that they could have improved on from the first game, and they managed to do it in this one, which is pretty awesome. Um, in the demo, it does have all elements pretty much from the main game that you're gonna experience, which I felt was a good idea to throw in, including a small puzzle, which wasn't really too hard to comprehend. It also introduces you to the new zero-G controls and element of the game, which I found to be a little weird. Um, I kind of liked the way that they did it in the first one, and this is probably my only gripe with the demo itself, and what I can only assume to be the main game, is the controls from Zero G. Pretty much, in order to go anywhere, you have to have your camera pointing right at the spot where you want to go, which is kind of, I guess it kind of makes sense, once you stop and think about it, but when you're actually playing it, it feels different. And I guess you really don't know what I mean unless you played the demo. And it's not, they're not bad. They feel kind of, I guess that's the only thing that really feels kind of sluggish to me in the game is the zero Z controls, which I think could have really been easily countered with some kind of thrusters or something like that, to actually move around easier. And you'll see a couple times in here I put in a couple of the deaths because of the walkie and just weird controls, and what seems like from the fan blades, I don't know if it was just not a proper blocking volume from the blades. The developers will know what I mean when I say that, or if it was just something with the controls itself that seemed kind of weird. But there was an issue with that I ran into a couple times, but it's a very small thing. And then we get into the new suit for Isaac, which I have to say, I guess that's really the one thing that they really could have improved on from the first game, was that, no offense, but the suits were butt ugly in the first game. And this one, you know, I like how in the demo they give you, the free upgrade for the suit, which is really leaps and bounds over anything from the first game right off the back, which is really awesome. And I can't wait to see what they put in for the full game as in terms of suits, because the suits are really, they're a big part of it, because it's really all you see you know, with being no kind of in-game menus, I guess you could say, it's all heads-up display from, you know, holograms, which is also a really cool idea, and it really works out really well. All of your stats and everything are on the back of your suit, like in the previous game, and you know, it doesn't really take that long to get used to. Surprisingly, it really just kind of flows with everything else in the game, and you get used to it really quickly, and it works out really well. Um, Here is the first kind of one of those familiar moments that people from the first Dead Space know about, which, you know, getting dragged along by some big ass monster that you have to shoot a little yellow glowing object on, which, you know, it's fun. It really is fun. And the game itself is just, you know, it looks great. It really does look great. This is on the PS3, obviously, for those who couldn't tell already, and you know, I couldn't be more satisfied with the game. Here is one of the newer enemies. And, you know, I wanted to throw this in here just to kind of show off all elements of the game and the demo itself. And, you know, I love doing these little quick time events, I guess you could call them, with getting enemies off of you. And, because they're really brutal. And there was even a trophy from the first game, which was really cool to get, because you guys know me and my trophies, like. And I wanted to kind of show, I didn't do a great job in it, I'll admit, but I did wanted to show some of the other weapons in the game that they gave you for the demo, which the javelin gun, which actually I don't think I showed any of in the gameplay. I do apologize, but I did show the pulse rifle, the link gun, oh, the line gun. There we go. That's probably my favorite weapon in the game. The plasma cutter really is very diverse, and it's probably the most useful. The line gun is really it's just that gun, you know, that I just love using. It's the really powerful kind of gun, and it takes out a lot of enemies very quickly, so it's really nice to use, especially if you get it upgraded. I know in the first game it worked out really well. And you know, there's a nice little cliffhanger at the end of it, at the end of the demo, which, you know, that's what Dead Space is all about, is cliffhangers, and they don't let up on this game for it seems like. So I can't wait to play it. We got about a month, a little over a month and a couple days, so it's gonna be great. I can't wait to see it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. I love it when you like it. Take care, guys. Talk to you later.